Perfect.
Welcome, residents of the Hook, here at Hit Points Not Required. All right. Settle down. Everybody back to your cells. All right. This is the first of an adventure in 3 acts. And during the final act, live on May 12th, your generosity will be able to affect the action. So stay caught up and plan to visit the prison then. But before we get started today, a couple of announcements. First, due to some questionable behavior, yard time has been canceled. Ooh. However, in the game room, that is still open. And if you need supplies that will really make a world of difference at your game night, our sponsor Pangea Gaming has a ton in stock. They have TTRPG materials like source books, handbooks, monster manuals. If it's printed, they can probably get you reading, whether it's D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, whatever. And you know what else you need? You need dice. They have dice aplenty. They have painted and unpainted miniatures. They have really cool multicolored paints. Go to our Discord, where Rook has by now posted some pictures of what these paints look like on actual miniatures. You can have your own painting party. And remember, they will ship both domestically and internationally. Woo-hoo-hoo! All right. Moving on, we are going
It really got Jacob.
Yeah, well, you know, one woohoo, one who too many for Jacob to keep his composure.
That's getting carried through.
But now we don't just get carried away on doing stuff for our own amusement. No, we do these things for a good cause. And here's Violet to tell you about this particular cause.
Yeah, we are currently fundraising for Point of Pride, a nonprofit that serves the trans community in the US and internationally by providing access to gender affirming healthcare. Their services include free telehealth programs for people seeking hormone therapy, support packages of free binders and shapewear, as well as funding for surgery, electrolysis, and other gender affirming procedures. As the political climate makes this kind of care increasingly difficult to access, please help us help them by donating what you can.
Yes, please donate what you can. And remember, on the 12th of May at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be having a live stream to finish this out where your generosity will be able to help those of us that may be still stuck in that prison at that point in time. And now, to tell you about this prison, take it away, Jacob.
All right. Listen.
Off to a roaring start.
All right. Everyone, shut up. All right. Here we go.
Back to yourselves, everybody.
All right. We begin our adventure on the southernmost point, south of a place called Toyama, on the south-facing coastline, the cliffs there. A lone watchtower that looks out over the sea. And as we tilt over the watchtower, we look down and we see an enormous iron plate suspended by a single iron chain, latched onto a hook on this watchtower. We look down and we see a prison yard on this plate over the top of a roaring, dangerous ocean. If needed, this hook will be released, the prison yard will be dropped into the water, and the interior of the prison, which is built into the side of this enormous cliff face, will start to flood. This is the security protocol of Calderet's Hook, where we begin our adventure. We see in the side of the cliff many, many kind of notches where you would see bars that lean into individual cells. The interior of this prison spans the wide kind of cliff face here, winding warrens, corridors, guards making their way through. The prison yard itself on this iron plate is littered with scraps of food, with various factions. We would see a beautiful, beautiful kind of made of stone cathedral here, a faux kind of place of worship, various kind of tunnels that lead in and out. The guards seem to be primarily human as we look around. And as we sweep on in, we would find in our yard a faction of orcs that are kind of repairing the wall there, wearing their prison garb. And as we look across at them, where would we find Lux right now?
Lux is most certainly uh, by herself. uh,
Yeah.
Doing her best to isolate herself from people as much as possible, keeping her distance back to a wall as often as it can be. Uh, she's a sort of average height, human looking woman with long, dark red hair, just kind of tucked back over her ears. Um, just very, very guarded and wary looking, back to a wall, trying to keep
Mm.
an eye on everybody else.
Your eye catches the chapel where you see Sister Bale, what looks to be a halfling cleric woman, in sort of her prison garb has been torn to look like robes almost. And you can see that telltale collar that you all have on that sometimes rides or rubs up against some of our Adam's apples. For some of it may dig into the chin. An iron band about an inch thick that wraps around your neck. It does not seem to have a beginning and an ending. You can't find any creases or anything on it. The only thing you feel and see when you sleep is that soft arcane glow that seems to bounce off the wall. For those of you that sleep with alarm clocks that you have to cover over because you hate the light coming from them, that's the vibe, or a laptop cable or anything. Yeah. As you look, you catch the eye of Sister Bale, who just kind of gives you a reverent nod, opens the doors to the chapel here, and you watch as the gutter saints, a bunch of these inmates of various stars and stripes, make their way in to begin their worship for today. As you're there watching, your eye would dance across uh, the field here. You would be able to look up. Indeed, the best place to put your back to a wall would probably be on the edge of the plate with your back to the ocean. Anywhere else is unsafe. So you may stand out to a lot of people of standing right on the edge of this plate where there is a thick kind of almost like parapets that are about waist high, the perfect
Mhm.
height to stumble and trip over and fall over the side there, hundreds of feet to the roaring ocean. The sound of
Gladly
the
will be
ocean.
there. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Perfect.
And the last thing we hear is as you fall over the edge is woohoo. Um, you would glance up and you would see the enormous stone cliff face that leads up to the huge tower where the warden, where a lot of the guards stay, and that thick chain over a single hook, the only thing keeping you all from plummeting in the ocean when you're at your rest time, at your leisure time here. As you glance around, uh, where would we spot Shine here?
Ooh. Well, shine is if it's not work time, if there's nothing
Mhm.
that needs to be done here, he'll be in his cell, probably with just one last bone that he has just finished cleaning off of this. It's a bone of a rat. It's kind of small, and he just putting that in place and tying it in there, and we now have the perfect finished. Uh, Display. I mean, think about like a T-Rex at a museum of all these rat bones.
Mhm.
Not necessarily from the same individual rat. They don't quite all fit together, but they make a perfectly finished specimen there. And he is very proud of this. Got it all there, complete, everything like that. Puts it up on the shelf. The only thing in his cell other than a neatly made bunk. And Shine himself would then just go back, lean one arm behind his head, which for description's sake, he is about 5'7", 5'8", human looking. He Stout would not be the right word for someone of that height. Maybe broad, kind of wide, muscular, like that, with a tight fitting prison outfit that may show off some pectoral muscles. And he has straight hair about shoulder length, blonde, color, except when he shakes his head a little bit, you can see it's almost like a peekaboo cut with like some dark hair coming out from underneath, and that's about it. He has nothing else in his cell, nothing else going on, and he's just sitting there relaxing. Oh, he does have that collar, but unlike the rest of the folks around here, he actually makes it look pretty good.
As you sit in your cell there, you look out, you would see the railing that then, unlike other prisons we kind of visualize, there is no drop into a courtyard. There are stairs that lead up to the plate, the yard on the edge of the cliff. You are inside the cliff, possibly just below water level here in your cell. As you sit there, you would hear the slithering of someone kind of coming past. You would look up, you would see a yuan tea that has like half moon spectacles. You can see they've got a little sack with them, and as they kind of slither up, you recognize Piney. Piney looks at you and says, Shine, you require more bones for your project, and kind of dumps them out in the front of your cell there.
Oh, well, to be honest, I just finished, but if you want one, if you need a friend, I can maybe, I mean, you probably want one, right?
I thought you were my friend, but another friend would be welcome. They say you can never have too many, and two would be nice.
Who says that?
Crave vests.
Kind of gestures back down this cell block. You poke your head out and you see the leader of the coil, the service, the leader here that services the laundry and the waste disposal, and some say tunnels beneath the hook here. Huge Yuan T Malison, big buff body, big cobra head, back in the corner. Now that it's leisure time, they are out of their cell, but you see they are surrounded by a bunch of other Yuan T. And Krev Vest just looks over and gives you a nod, nods to the bones there, and Piney says,
They are a gift from Krev.
Oh,
But if you don't need them, I can take them back.
I think that might be best. I was told we're not allowed gifts.
That is true. Well, I shall bring them back to Krev and let them know your answer.
and kind of scoops up the bones. As they scoop up the bones, they kind of tie it off. We zoom down the corridor a little bit and swing in. Bruiser, standing in front of your cell is an enormous orc, slightly bluey skin. They have their arms folded as they lean up against the bars. They are waiting as you kind of toil away. They have a little like flask that they seem to have fashioned out of like leather, cured leather, and a cork. And as they kind of hold it through the bars there, what do we see? How do we meet Busa?
Well, the pressure's on. It's being watched while I try to work. You see what looks almost like a towering mound of dirty laundry that just kind of is moving. The shoulders working over the toilet area, just rags covered. And then as she kind of stands to let it sit the way it needs to, you see that she's actually quite tall, just piles and layers of mismatched, ratty, full of holes, dingy clothes, covered, absolutely covered, massive. And she's not muscular, but she's very lithe. So she looks very lean. She looks like she can move quickly. She has this undercut and her hair is up in a bun. And she's just got dirt covering her face, as she is clearly not really concentrated on anything besides making hooch in a toilet for years. And she's going to try and make the product that he's waiting for.
Yeah, go ahead and make me some sort of alchemy check, whether it's an investigation, a medicine, a nature, or survival. I do not mind. I would love for you to let me know.
First roll.
Okay, that's 11 on the die, and I have a 7 to medicine, so that's 18.
18. Do you serve this up to this individual, or do you make him wait?
I serve it up as soon as I confirm that there is payment.
Yeah, you look through. He kind of slips through what looks to be like a card, like a thick kind of cardboard card. Slips it through, and he says, "With compliments from Brix Madden," and slips you through a card that looks to have like perforated marks on it, and you know this to be almost like homemade. Like a homemade like cheese cheddar kind of like very sharp kind of food
Yeah.
here.
Okay. That will pair well with my hooch. I will absolutely take the flask that is kind of fashioned, and I'll kind of scoop it into the water until it's full to the brim. I will close it for him, and hand it over and go,
Nods and says, "I will let Brix know that you have done this," and kind of steps away.
and just like wipes the sweat. It's like I don't know how much longer she can keep making this stuff. So she's getting a little nervous now. She's glad that it worked this time, but knows that it might not next time.
Excellent. As we whip out and across, we make our way up through the kind of the stairwell that leads up to the yard where we found Lux there. As we whip up through the yard, just above the yard, as you head back inside up to some of the less kind of the less guarded area here, where everyone's kind of working away. As everyone's working away, we see a very tall human, broad chest. You can see he has like a buzz cut, very sharp, kind of white eyes, and he seems to be inspecting a bunch of tables that have kind of like timber and metal on them. There are a number of guards kind of walking through here. Looks to be a tool shop of some sort. We see his eyes kind of darting around, and as we look, we see Lieutenant Hasker Lauren, otherwise known as Red, the leader of the guard here, keeping an eye out over the workers here. As he keeps an eye out over the workers, there's a pat on his shoulder. He turns, listens to one of the guards speak to him, nods, and walks away. Busa, where would we find you right now?
Busa, I think, would be occupying a small corner. She's a halfling, so she's pretty small already, but she would be making herself as small as possible. Trying to blend into the wall. I'm assuming stone, and she's wearing gray, so she's kind of got this like dark blonde, ashy gray hair. She might be older for a halfling, kind of looks like middle age. She's kind of playing with something in her hand, sitting like on the ground on her butt with her legs up and her arms on her knees, and she's looking up at the guards and watching Red Haskin and the other guards kind of talk. And she's looking down at the orcs, she's looking at Lux, she goes back to the guards, and that's kind of like the 3 points that she's watching.
As you watch the guards pay not too much mind to you. You do notice that there is an incredibly large orc, almost ogre size, has a huge belly, huge buff, kind of round, kind of boulder shoulders, and he is kind of working away at the head of this group here in this kind of tool area. You can see there are a lot of orcs that are heading to him to talk to him. He just kind of nods, a little bit Brando-esque, like at his table working away, and people coming up to him. And as they come up to him, his eyes kind of fall on you, and he just kind of gives you a nod as if to say, "Get over here."
I sigh. I'm not hiding that I'm annoyed. I don't care. Weirdly confident for such a tiny humanoid in this terrifying place, and I'm new, so I kind of all right, and I like brush off my hands and push myself up and walk over.
Excellent. As you walk over, he kind of shoves aside one of his kind of assistants there. You would know this to be Gorval Brix Madden, the leader of the Brickbacks, the orcs that do maintenance here and build tools and things here. A lifer for sure. It has been here around 30, 40 years or so. He looks at you. As he looks at you, he slams down what looks to be like a pickaxe with twine through the head of it there. The twine is kind of frayed and split. He kind of slams it in front of you. He says,
You have thin fingers, tie.
excellent. You kind of tie it. He takes it back. As he takes it back, he slams it on the ground to see if the head slides down. As it doesn't, he looks and goes,
Good fish.
and puts it back on the ground there. We cut away from that and we zoom up through the tower, past guard stations, up into a section of this prison, into the infirmary. The infirmary has a couple of people in it that are prisoners. Two of them seem to be wearing the same kind of torn robes that Sister Bale of the Gutter Saints had, and they look to be followers of her, perhaps, helping out what looks to be a tiefling doctor. You can see she has kind of white cloak on. She's got a mask over her face, and she's there looking after a patient. She has what looks to be a cantrip of light that she's holding in front of the eyes of our good friend Zariah. Zariah, as you sit on the infirmary bed here, getting a classic checkup in front of Dr. Nara Vesk, would you like to describe and introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, you see in this infirmary an older dwarven gentleman, short, stocky, with graying hair down to his shoulders, some thin facial hair, also sort of just like layers of gray robes or like graying clothes. Everything about him is sort of like graying. His face weathered like tanned leather. Normally, he wears a piece of cloth tied around his eyes like a blindfold. But he takes it off for this appointment, as the light is like shined in his eyes that are now glazed over and pale, with old wounds over the sockets, and he will say, "What then is the diagnosis? Still blind, I presume."
She waves her hand in front of your face and then like flicks you in the knee, and your reflex flicks. Dr. Vesk says, "Yes, it looks like you're still blind, unfortunately." You're feeling well though.
Oh yes, I am blessed as always to be here, as all we are.
Blessed by who? And she's kind of making small talk as she kind of looks in your ear.
Oh, I think there's a bit of like excitement at someone asking, because if you ask, he will start talking, and most people don't. But
for that reason, yeah,
for that reason, and he will say, "Luke, mine is the god of travel, and blessed are the roads that have brought us to this place."
Keep telling me.
Mine is the god of commerce and trade.
Tongue out, please. No, tongue in. Yeah, okay. Very good.
Okay.
Close it up. Okay, swallow. Thank you.
Yes. Mine is the god of commerce and trade, and all debts will be balanced. We are blessed to pay our debts, even those to society here in this place of justice.
You wouldn't see it, but the two, acolytes of the Gutter Saints do kind of pause and throw you dirty looks as you pray about whoever this is, whoever this Lug is. Dr. Vest kind of nods and says, all right, it looks like you're good to go till our next visit, but I am here all week, so if you need anything, please don't hesitate to call and ask. You're among the oldest here, so we want to make sure you're fighting fit and healthy. Well, not fighting. You're not fighting, are you?
Oh, no, those days are past. I am something of a not a preacher, but a guide, I would say.
Yeah.
No fighting.
Good. She leans in and close to your ear. She says, again, be careful where and when you preach this stuff. She kind of glances back at her quote-unquote assistants. She's going to kind of shake your hand, and you feel some sort of crinkle in your hand, some sort of packet crinkle in your hand. And she goes, well, you look like you are a fighting fit, as I said, Mr. Bell. I look forward to perhaps meeting you again at the end of the week before I head off on my trip.
Your trip? Remind me again.
Oh,
Where?
I am going
Where do
to
you travel to?
across the waters to take a look at the at Axio, the lands there. Eusia, perhaps up to Nevium. Get a look at the other side of the world.
Wonderful. May the god of travel bless your journeys. I would like to see those cities someday, as it were.
Yes. Oh, of course. Well, perhaps if you make it to one of those cities, I've heard Nevium is very magical. Perhaps they can do something about your affliction.
Yes,
we shall see. Yes. Well, be well, be safe, and I'll see you right before I go. And kind of shakes your hand and gestures to the door there.
As I get up, I presume I have like sort of a walking stick cane that I use to sort of tap around as I go. I will take in my hand and feel what she gave me. Can I tell what this is?
Make an investigation check for me.
Sure. Investigation. 10.
10. There's a packet. It seems to have like a lump in it and something like some sort of like stick at the bottom. It's a lollipop. You got a lollipop for being a good boy.
Oh, yes. Adding to my inventory. That's awesome.
Excellent. As you step out, you become keenly aware of passing by these priests, these acolytes, and you step out the door and make your way down the stone stairwell. The human guards they're not unkind, but they do not take you by the hand. They do not lead you. Indeed, it might take you a good 10, 15, 20 minutes to get down the number of stairs that lead all the way back down through the guard chambers and back into general population. As you make your way down, you can hear the rushing of the ocean and kind of the chatter of people here. As you make your way down, you, Lux, would watch as in the yards here, the workout gear, a number of kind of tables on top of this iron tablet made of stone, the chapel. As you hang out here, you would watch as... Make a perception check for me.
Sure.
Eight. Beautiful. You would not know why, but you would watch as Sister Bale and a number of her quote-unquote priests, some of them looking very jacked, stride purposefully up to the steps that lead up to the tool-making area. And as she steps up to the tool-making area, you would watch as she kind of barges in through the doors. Busa, you would see Sister Bale stepping in to the tool making area, heading straight across past the tables to our orc kind of leader, and kind of thumping her fists down on the table and starting to speak in very hushed tones with him. As that happens, you would clock what looks to be the lead guard, Red, kind of tilting his head a little bit. And as he tilts his head a little bit, he shakes it, gestures to the other guards, and the guards clear out of the tool making room and head upstairs towards the tower there.
Can I take? Am I still at the table where the sister Veil came over?
No, well, you can be if you want.
Can I be and kind of just like step behind maybe the big orc and use him to hide?
Yeah, make a stealth check for me.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'm good at. I shouldn't have said that. Don't know why I did that. Yep. I got a 15. I rolled a 5. I got a 15.
Okay.
Best roll so far.
Yeah. For those of you watching at home, our players had their inventory sheets deleted and they had anti-magic collars put on. So good for them.
We're just some mundane folks.
Yep. You watch, you hide, and you hear, you would hear Sister Bale say, Is this right? Is this what I've come to expect from you after all these years? You would hear Brix speak up, Madden the orc, and say,
I do what I have to get my son to safety.
Sister Bale says, well, we all want to get there at some point, but for you to backstab like this. The orc stands, enormous. The other orcs stand as well. As they all stand, you would hear from high up above just a loud, like, out on the plate. You Lux, you may have felt this before, feel the plate shift a little bit, like they're adjusting the chain. And as they adjust the chain, it comes off a loop and drops a few degrees towards the ocean. As the siren goes off and as the plate is lowered ever so slightly, that is the sign of get back to your cells.
Time to go.
You're in deep shit. Everyone starts to rush back inside. Lux, Busa, what would you two like to do in your separate places here?
I think I'm just gonna stick to the shadows of larger people than I and head back to my cell and be a good little halfling while listening and watching that guy up there, Red.
Yeah. You see Red, as you look up the hundreds of feet, you see Red kind of leaning over the edge of one of the archways there, looking down at the plate. You can see that as the plate's kind of dropped a little bit. What are you doing there, Lux?
I'm trying. I do want to go back to my cell, but I am also trying to be the last one off the plate. I want everyone else to leave before me if possible, but I also don't want to fall in the ocean. So I am heading back to my cell.
Workout gear is abandoned. People start to move their way in. Inside, Shine and Bruiser, you would see people rushing back in. You would see the leader of the coil marching his way back with his entourage slithering with him. Everyone making their way back to their kind of tightly packed cells here. As everyone's making their way back in, people are brushing past you there, Zariah. You've been here a long time. It's not that no one respects you, it's that everyone just knows you're always around, and there's no real care taken to get you back to your cell. And indeed, you hear what's going on. You've been here a long time. You've probably seen the once or twice in your 30, 20 years of this being dropped. Not in the last, 10, certainly. But, this is a clear the yard tactic by the guards.
Yeah, I think I am. Oh, Zoe, were you going to say something?
Yeah, go for it.
Am I in the same area as, is it, sorry,
Zariah.
Zariah.
Zariah. A lot of people call him the blind man.
Just the
Yes.
blind
So
man?
Just
you
the
would,
blind man.
yeah.
Am I in the same area as the blind man? Do I see this happening, like him getting left behind?
Sure. Yeah. If you're slowly making your way back as the two leaders of two of the factions are arguing, but trying to make their way back, but also arguing, you can definitely see different inmates kind of bustling past the blind man.
Are we on the same, like, do I recognize him from being on the same, like, cell block?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone would know the blind man at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to sidle up to him and go, do you want a hand getting back to our cell block?
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
It's just basic. And I can I take your hand, or would you like to put your hand on my shoulder?
Yeah, I'll reach out and put a hand on your shoulder.
Okay. All right, let's go. And I take off.
Excellent. You lead Zariah back. It's not long before you, Bruiser, and Shine would see Zariah, who you recognize being led by Busa, who is relatively new here, but in the same kind of isolated cell block as you guys. You make your way past.
If it ain't the bullshit man. Duped another one, I see.
Shut up, you creep. But I also say it with like a little smirk. Like him and I have had a couple back and forths, and I'm like, you're whatever you are. Go back to your hole.
Yes. And tell this bullshit man that he should also return to his cell.
He is.
I'm just scooping my product straight into my gullet so as not to waste any. If we're starting to tilt, immediately trying to make sure that I'm not wasting a drop.
Yeah, you guys aren't tilting, but you know if that tilts too far, the counter lever pulls up the sluice, the floodgates, and water will rush in here. I don't know if that's happened for any of you. Zariah, you would remember it happening once or twice before, and being in a cliff under the water line as water rushes in, especially as a blind man there, it is a last resort for these guards, but they do not muck around when they do. You're scooping in. You know that if your cell is tossed and they find Hooch, Bruiser, you're in deep shit as well. Yeah. Make a con save for me real quick.
Oh God, you're gonna start this session just totally wasted.
I have a +3 to this. So let's see. That's a 2 on the die. That's a number 5. I'm feeling fighty.
You can take the poison / drunk condition just for a little bit here.
Absolutely, I'll take it.
Amazing.
Has this happened before? Have they like done things like this to keep everybody in line, right? So sort of like fire drill, right? Yeah, the alarm's going off, but it's
like
not
a
real.
little warning.
Make a history check for me there, Shine.
Oh, sure.
Actually, anyone that wishes to. It'd be Shine, Busa, and give me history checks.
14.
14, beautiful.
11.
Makes sense. Nat 20 for 23.
Nat 20, beautiful.
Got a
Shine,
17.
you 17, Bruiser as well. They will lower the chain a notch to get everyone off the plate if there is a riot, if there is an escape, or often when they see the leaders of two factions getting together, for some reason they don't, even if there's no threat of violence, they don't like that, and they will set the things off. You guys make your way back. You, Lux, would feel it kind of tilt a little bit and slide. You will watch as two of the guards that are kind of like in the bottom part of the tower lean out. They have big, heavy crossbows. One of them shouts out and says, "Come on, kid, you're going to want to head inside. We don't want to have to scrape you off the rocks down there or fish you out of the water."
They're leaning out like from under where?
No, on top.
On top.
Like
Oh, okay.
100 or 100, 120 feet
under,
above
okay.
where the plate is. Yeah, you're on the edge of the plate. They are
Got
up
it.
here on the tower.
Yeah, I just flip them off and I go.
Well, that's mature. We're in a prison. We're in a prison. What do you expect? I expect just a little bit of respect.
Well, you shouldn't.
You head back on in. As you head back on in, you make your way back into the cell block, and as each of you step into your cells, your cells are locked. That siren ticks off, and you hear the arduous task of even just a couple of degrees winching the plate back up to the degree that it was. And you gather that everyone are back in their cells. And as you all arrive back in your cells, I hand it over to you guys to see what you would like to do or get up to.
Oh, I turned to my rat and I just Shimmer, it's all right. It was just a drill. Don't concern you. We're gonna be fine. They do this all the time.
Your skeletal rat does not seem bothered. It does not protest. In fact, it does not move.
That's my boy.
Insight check.
On the skeleton.
Yeah. I think as we were walking, I had a hand on Busa's shoulder.
Yeah.
I think I would have been wondering, are they tense? Are they scared? Are they brave? Just sort of like an insight check. Sort of like, yeah, I would have tried to like gauge their demeanor from what I could.
Busa is weirdly calm. Just like, all right.
And you're somewhat new, right? How long have you been?
I would say between a month and 2 months, pretty new.
Okay. I think if we can say your cells within earshot of mine, I
All
would
your
say-
cells are within earshot of each other if you need to talk to each other.
just like a Brady
No,
Bunch, like
No,
grid.
you're right. yes. It's a Hollywood Squares
This would be
situation.
a
is
really
what's
fun
going on.
session if none of us
It's
could hear
it's
each
you
other.
guys. It's you guys, and then Gilbert Gottfried's in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, Gilbert!
I have no idea how I got here. I did nothing wrong.
Actor Gilbert Gottfried is here.
Actor Gilbert Gottfried is
Yes.
in. Yep, there we go.
As himself, yes.
Wonder what they're in for.
I will say to Busa, wherever they are, that was a kind and brave thing you did to assist me. You are new here. There's such courage when they lower the chain is rare.
I mean, it was truly not the worst thing I've seen. And as far as kindness, I think it's just, if I was blind, I would want someone to lead me. That's about as deep as that goes.
You can hear
Well.
Lux kind of like scoffing from herself.
Who's
Hey,
that? Who's
kid.
scoffing?
Hey kid, you know he knows his way around here better than anyone else, right?
Yeah, but y'all are like stepping on people and stuff. I just, better safe than sorry.
Better you than me, I guess.
Truth.
Yeah. I am perhaps in truth not as feeble as some would assume, but
Oh,
thank
really?
you. All this.
Blind man, I figured you've been here a while. You probably got some good info. It's a little self-serving. I'm not going to lie to you.
I have much info about our god Lug, if you would like to hear.
Oh, Lord, Brucer, you got anything for me?
Yeah. And I think she is going to take her pillowcase off and
Yeah.
dip it in the toilet so that it gets like just soaks up all of the last bits of hooch, and she's gonna like thwack it over
Hell
to
yeah.
time.
That's so smart.
I'll
Yeah.
Bring it
have
out.
what he's having.
Wring it out into the one cup in there, and then send it back.
Yeah, I take it back and I go, hold on. This is gonna blow your mind. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the cheese and be like, I hear you got a new friend. And I'm gonna pass some cheese as well.
That's unexpected.
I thought you were gonna mix it with the alcohol.
Cheese hooch. It's gonna be
Yeah.
huge.
I was like, oh, a wine and cheese night, nice.
Yeah.
But
Names
what
for the
if
rat.
together?
It's Shimmer's too young for that type of hooch.
Shimmer.
We'll have to cheese to start for now. That'll be fine. I'm sure when I turn around, that'll be gone, especially after I drink this.
I
I'm
suppose
doing
what they were arguing about.
I'm doing yoga stretches in myself while this
Okay,
is all
great.
going on.
Great. Excellent. While all this is going on, you hear the footsteps and the jingle of keys as, guards make their way down. They make their way down the various levels above yours and then make their way down to yours. Your ground floor, you guys hear across the way would be some of the big wigs, some of the leaders here. You would watch as they march down both Sister Bale and Brix Madden. Brix Madden, enormous. And you see as he's being kind of marched on, he's complying by 3 or 4 guards. You can see Red Lauren, Lieutenant Hasker, the lead guard there, kind of makes his way down past all the cells. As he does, he looks at you all with like a cold glare. As he looks at you all with a cold glare, walks over to your cell, Bruiser, kind of leans up against it and says, "You feeling all right there, Stokestone?"
Well, sir, yes, sir.
You seem to be slightly under the influence. May I ask where you came across Hooch?
Sir, yes, sir.
I am asking, where did you come across whatever has made you this inebriated?
I am invoking my right to deny, sir.
Gestures as if to say, like, come closer, come to the fucking bars here.
Staggers up. Has no her body is so disjointed. It almost looks like a farce. And she just feels extremely loose as she walks up.
Rubber hose animation.
Yes.
Yeah. As you get closer, he reaches through with a meaty forearm, back of the head, poof, pulls your head against the bars, bang! And as he pulls your head against the bars, he says, "You're here in the hook. You don't have rights." Kind of lets go. Kind of looks around. As he looks around, he says, "I want you to toss these cells immediately." And everyone kind of groans a little bit, and the leaders for the other contingents are led back to their cells, and guards start to make their way around. What would you guys do before your cells are being tossed, knowing that they're going to be tossed?
I spit at his feet.
Hearing that
He looks-
exchange and the thunk as Bruiser's head hit the bars, I would just go up to the door of mine and say, "I got your hooch right here. I'm your Huckleberry."
Red kind of points at each of your cells. As he points at each of your cells, they are opened, and 2 guards apiece step into your cells. Now's a good time for us to go around, take the spotlight, and let us know how you would have customized, decorated. What does your cell each look like as the guards step in to utterly destroy and ruin all the nice stuff you've got set up? Who would like to go first?
Busa's cell is the way that she found it. It's she's maybe tried to push some dirt back into the hall through the bars, maybe out of her cell floor, but otherwise Busa comes to her cell, lies down, puts her head behind her back, and that's what she does. So her cell is nothing.
Up, face the wall. They get you to face the wall so they can look through your nonsense there. Beautiful. Who else?
Yeah, there's almost nothing in my cell. They come in, I step back casually, leaning against the wall, legs crossed. There's a bunk. There's the cup and the toilet and everything that we were given just neatly lined up, neatly made. And the one thing in there is the rat with the little. Well, no, there's no little piece of cheese. I don't know where that went.
No piece of cheese there. One of the guards kind of walks up to Shimmer there, kind of looks down at Shimmer and says, "Boss, we've got something." And kind of Red walks on over. Larger than we'll say he's Clancy Brown kind of height and build. Why not? As he steps on in, he kind of looks at you, gives you a nod, Shine, and says, "You've been behaving yourself."
I just give him that smile, the one that like is practiced and sort of dies halfway between the mouth and the eyes, and always.
He scoops up Shimmer and kind of holds it and says, "You're somewhat of an artist, is that right?"
I like to fix things.
Kind of sits gingerly, like very tenderly sits Shimmer aside.
Have a good while to put that thing together.
Yeah. He says, "You fix things." Have you considered putting your skills to good use for the betterment of the prison?
Did you have a job?
He smiles and he says, "I do. Come see me at the guard shack once you're all back in leisure time." Nods, steps away, leaves Shimmer as they are, makes his way across to you, Busa. As he makes his way across to you, you've spat on the ground, just kind of looks at the spit, looks at you. He says, "You're new, right?"
Ish.
Right. No contraband? No. Good. Well, continue to behave yourself, and you'll be in good standing. Understood?
Yup. The long
Good.
consideration.
He turns back to the rest of the prison and said the rest of that floor, and he says, he hears you say jerk, and he says, "I would like you all to know that I think Busa might be my favorite inmate here. So well behaved, so kind to the guards. Just so you're all aware." And kind of walks away and past, and there's a little bit of jeering and sniveling.
I physically wince as I hear that.
Is there still two guards in my room, my cell?
At this point, yeah.
They're both human?
Yeah.
When he says that, I immediately turn and just punch the closest one in the crotch.
Go ahead. Give me a real quick. Give me an attack roll.
What was that? Sorry.
Give me an attack roll.
An attack roll. Oh, how do I do
unarmed
that?
strike?
Oh, just unarmed. Okay.
D20 unarmed strike. Yeah.
It's an 11.
An 11. You go to punch at this guard. As you do, you hit like the meaty thigh, and you like Charlie horse him a little bit, and he goes, "Oh, knock it off."
Knock it off.
You should choose one with a larger target.
Oh shit!
Red kind of moves on. You can see, Busa, that as you look across, you see the enormous orc leader that kind of called you over, Brix Madden, just kind of looking at you. Make an insight check for me.
15.
15. He recognizes that you're being fucked with, and you see a little bit of like a nod of like, keep your chin up, sort of thing. The same can't be said for a lot of the other prisoners. You hear kind of hooting and hollering. Bruiser, the blind
Yeah.
man, Lux. What do we find as we raid, or at least get a look at your cells?
I think that for Bruiser, as soon as they're like, as the two guards enter, she just kind of stumbles back and like lands on the bed, like kind of noodly,
Yeah.
and like grandly gestures to the room around her and
Mhm.
goes, "Welcome to my abode. Sorry for the mess." And they don't really see much except for all of the walls are covered in scribbles in code that she
Mhm.
keeps for recipes on how to make, like how many parts this, how many parts that, who orders what and who likes what flavor from her, but it's all in code. So it's mostly just that on the wall. They would find a book.
Mhm.
It's a nonfiction kind of like kind of like a general guide to the region, but it's, you know, her little token of what I'm gonna do when I get out of here kind of book. So that's very
Yeah.
possible. They may find the cheese depending on if they're really looking.
Let's roll. Make a sleight of hand check, and I'll roll against that
Yay.
for your
Can I
cheese. Sleight of
keep
hand or
my
stealth.
cheese?
Up to you.
Yeah, I'll go stealth. Okay, that's a 9 plus 6, 15.
Okay. Okay. They get you off the bed there and kind of put you uneasily like at the wall. As they work through, one of them kind of slips a hand under the pillow or under the mattress and pulls out this square of cheese minus a little section there. And as
Wait, please hold. I forgot I'm poisoned. I need to roll that at disadvantage. That is an
you've got-
8, so 14.
yeah, they beat you on that first roll anyway.
Okay. Just trying to keep it real. I'm very
they-
drunk.
They pull out that chunk of cheese. As they pull out that chunk of cheese, they kind of hold
No.
it out. Red kind of walks past, picks up the cheese, looks at it, sniffs it. Who gave you this?
You keep asking me all these questions, sir. I genuinely would love to tell you, but I am too drunk to remember.
Check the toilet. They go to
No.
the system. Is there any left in there?
No, I think I got the last of it in
Okay.
the ringing out of the toilet.
One of the guards goes to the toilet and kind of looks in and just shrugs. And Red goes, check the toilet. And the guard kind of goes, dips his finger in and goes, shrugs. Red nods.
She
Pockets
can't
the
help it.
cheese.
She's gonna be laughing and pointing as he like licks the toilet.
Can we all see this? Like we're nearby, right?
You're nearby, yeah. I mean, like directional is a bit weird. Like you're on the same block, but you could see some, yeah.
Just for purposes to keep track of later. Which god was this? Do we know a name?
You probably wouldn't know names, but you would recognize the guard. Like has sandy hair and a mustache. Like they look vaguely similar. They cycle every 6 hours. Different guards every 6 hours.
Okay.
But not a lot of them because they can just drop the chain and you guys are goner. So
I'm gonna antagonize him a little bit. I go, you get paid enough to do that?
I laugh.
The guard looks at you and says, honestly, yeah, it's pretty good pay, if I'm honest. Yes.
And that's my finest flavor.
Kind of nods, looks at Red. Red kind of just raises his eyebrows. And the guard looks at him, goes across to you, stands in front of you, and says, in like a little bit of a wavery tone, I'm going to have to reprimand you for that. And is just going to take you by your shoulders and just slam you against the wall a little bit, just so
Yeah.
your head kind of cracks back ever so slightly. Oh, that's the wrong dice. Just going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage there. You all hear like a crack there. From across the way, you hear what's her face? Names. You hear Sister Bale go, "Oh, give it a rest, will ya? She's done nothing wrong." Red kind of turns back and says, "You all seem to forget how easy it would be for us to submerge you all in enough water to make you think you were a mer person. Behave yourselves, or you will be punished." Everyone goes quiet. He steps out of Bruiser's place there with the cheese, walks across to Lux and the blind man's cells.
I think, the blind man's cell. I think he has, in his time, been afforded the luxury of a crate that he uses as like a table. It's also the crate that he will slowly push out into the yard so that he can stand on it and talk about Luke.
His literal soapbox.
Yeah. But I think he has collected like paper and ink and maybe a candle. So there are a bunch of like scattered like sheets of paper, I think the guards find, with drawings of like they just look like squiggly like lines and shapes. It kind of looks like nonsense. But there is one sheet of paper that he would have like hidden in his robe before the inspection.
Okay. Yeah, give me a sleight of hand or a stealth check.
Okay. Sleight of hand or stealth is the same for me. Okay. 18.
Okay. The guards come in, and as they come in, they do a very, very lazy search of your place here. And they kind of just nod to Red, who kind of steps in, kind of just looks around, nods and says, "All right, old timer."
Yes. Have you come to hear the good word of Luke?
No.
See now, the divinely inspired writings.
Listen. The only travel I'm going to be doing is ducking across to UCI. I don't need none of this blessing. You look after yourself, all right?
Yes. Good travels to you. When do you depart, that I may pray to the god of travelers?
He says, "Well, that's a problem. I can't really go over there." He kind of slaps you on the chest like a friend, and you feel something square pressed to you as he kind of pats the cheese to your chest there, and you kind of place a hand over it. Kind of pats you there, narrowly avoids touching the paper that's hidden there. And he says, "I think if I show up there, I'll get my ass kicked by some of the powers that be. So, you know people." Leans in and says, "If you know anyone that deals with identities, I'd really appreciate that. Can't be showing up to UCR with them knowing who I am."
I will certainly endeavor to help in any way that I can to remove these obstacles to your travel.
And who knows? The obstacles might be removed for you.
Yes.
Been here long enough.
Yes. Praise be.
Nods. Steps away.
Why does he get all the snacks?
You have Bruiser's cheese there. As he steps out, he makes his way over to where you are, Lux.
So this cell is also pretty empty. Not a lot of stuff in it. The only thing outside of the standard sort of furnishings is in the center of the floor is a kind of mat that looks like it was made out of some extra scavenged sheets and blankets that were kind of tied together to form a mat for the floor, which is where she was doing her yoga. And the walls, however, also are fairly covered, not with text, but with sketches. There are portraits of people, like a handful of people. It seems like some of them are different pictures, different angles and stuff of the same people. There are a few sketches of places, sort of skylines of cities and buildings and things like that. And these cover most of the walls. They seem to have been sort of scratched into the walls. Some look very like they've been there for a very long time, and some look relatively fresh.
Okay.
And just as they come to my cell, I just quickly, or hopefully before they get to my cell, just dart my hand under my mattress and grab something and just tuck it into my uniform or whatever
Give
it
me
is.
sleight of hand
Yeah.
or stealth.
All right. God damn it. It's a 10.
Okay. You are kind of swept aside as the guards come in and check under the mattress and check here and there and look at your things there. One of the guards kind of not manhandles you, but does kind of grab you and move you and feels whatever you kind of move there and kind of.
I try to pull away a little bit as he does it. Just.
As you pull away, he lets you go, but they stand between you and the door, and Red comes walking on over. Red comes walking on over and kind of pokes his head in. He says, "All right."
I haven't done anything. I don't need people putting their hands on me. Move along.
What have you got hidden on you?
What do you think I have? Anything?
Looks at the guard. The guard nods. She says, I felt something.
I pull it out. It's just like a little it's a little piece of wood that has letters scratched into it, not words or anything. It's just letters. And it's got like a cord that looks like it's sort of like braided twine, sort of looped through one side of the wood.
So kind of like when you go to a cafe and they have like a big chunk of wood with a key on the end, so they don't lose the key.
Sort of like that. Not that big, but yes.
Okay, great. He holds his hand out.
Why do you need this?
Why do you need to hide it?
Because it is mine. I slam it into his hand.
Takes a look over it. What letters are carved into it?
They're just random letters. There's no like rhyme or reason to it.
Okay. Kind of feels it a little bit. Why have we not found this before? I don't know. We're going to take a look at this. You'll get it back if it's innocent.
Fine.
Pockets it. As he pockets it, he steps out of your cell. He says, "Thank you for your compliance. You're going to be given an hour to sit and think about your behavior, and then you'll be allowed back into the yard. You've got about 2 hours left in the yard, and then you'll have to pack it in. Make the most of it." Thank you. Kind of turns, walks back up the steps there. As he leaves the steps, the guards leave as well, and everyone else in their cells. It starts to become a buzz of conversation throughout the entire place here. And I hand it back to you guys.
As they're walking out, I'm going to yell after Sandy Head, "Don't forget to wash your hands!"
Toilet breath.
He goes, "I'll clean this one."
As soon as
mature,
we're like released back out, I want to find
Yeah.
Busa immediately.
and I'm going
Yeah,
to
but
find Bruiser, so we may all convene.
before we get there, is there anything you do in the hour of isolation you guys have in your cells?
I
As-
want to like
Oh, go ahead.
go. No, you go ahead.
As soon as they leave my cell, I immediately drop back onto my mat and take up a pose and just have like a look of intense concentration and just start like muttering to myself under my breath.
Okay, great.
I kind of lean out, go over to my little bars, and I lean out, and I just go, so that guy's a real ass face.
Sandy hair?
Him too, but big red there.
Yes, the Lieutenant Haskell Lauren, yes.
Yeah, he's a real piece of work. And I'm just like waiting to see if anyone is. I know he really just fudged me over bad. So I'm just gonna wait and see if anyone also dislikes this guy as much as I do.
Lux is still focused on what she's doing, but she'll look up for a second, and in that moment there's kind of a flash to the look in her eyes. It's she has a sort of like orangey goldish eyes, and the light just catches them in this moment where she shoots you a quick glare, and she's furious. Furious.
Busa makes a really subtle stabbing motion,
You want to
and
sleep
then
with
just
him?
goes back.
I just look away.
All right. Nice slip back.
Something wet and like clumpy kind of hits the bars of your cell there, Busa, from somewhere up above.
I look up above.
Fuck you, fish.
I look around. I look back up. Am I fish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Uh,
What have I done?
I will. I will lean over towards towards Busa's cell and say, yes, Fish is someone new to our establishment. Those who are seen to be in good standing with the guards are in poor standing with the other residents. As it were.
Gotcha. So I'm going to have to tear someone's throat out, is what you're saying.
I would not recommend it, but the ire of our neighbors can be directed with certain. We are all brothers and sisters in the Loog. I will say like loud enough, now preaching to the whole block. Let us not quibble amongst each other. Let us be peaceful. Sort of like I am like trying to annoy everyone so that their ire is drawn to me and they will throw stuff at my cell, as they've done before.
You see a lot of the gutter saints. Sister Bale is not doing this, but a lot of the gutter saints are kind of shouting at you preaching about, preaching this false prophet, the Loog. As you're shouting, you've drawn, some of their attention to you, some of their attention still on Busa. You all would notice that Sister Bale has a particular intense dislike of the blind man there. You would notice that Brix Madden seems to recognize Busa, that you are, you were done wrong by the guard there. Bruiser, you can see that Madden is also kind of swigging away at this flask that looks tiny in his hands and just kind of gives you a cheers there. After an hour, your intoxication would drop and you can remove that poison condition. And finally, as the doors, as the grates, as the cage is kind of open, you would watch as Creves, the serpent there, all of their kind of entourage move back to them, and they, as this slithering mass of Yuan-Ti, Malisons and casters and things, make their way up the stairs out into the yard, and you guys have your free time once more. I hand it over to you guys to explore the prison here. The cafeteria again is a couple levels above you. The workshop, the yard has been refixed. I hand it over to you guys to see what you want to do.
Yeah, I was gonna go looking for Busa, and if Busa was looking for Busa, we might all just converge at that
Perfect.
Yeah.
particular residence.
Yeah. Perfect.
When Busa gets onto the yard, is the table the table where the orc had me come over and fix the thing. Is that still set up with all the stuff on it?
So that's just inside to where the plate drops. That's kind of up a little bit and inside. So that's undercover. So there is like the plate and then the cliff, and you guys were like in this intersection a little bit. Your cells are below here, and the guard tower comes up above. The cafeteria and stuff up here, workshop, cells below the waterline and below the plate.
And we're out on the plate now?
Wherever you wish to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I make a pass through that little like covered space we were? Can I make a little pass through there on my way out to the plate?
Absolutely, yeah.
Can I make a pass through there and see if there's something, like, just as I'm going by the table, see if there's something small I can just off the table? Something hard, preferably.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll as
No
everyone kind of
reason.
comes back out. There's a dotting of guards everywhere. What I'll need is a sleight of hand or a stealth check.
Okay, I'll do stealth. 17.
17. Excellent. Guards are always on active duty. Beautiful. Roll a D100 for me.
No. Wait, no, that's good. You're gonna get
See what you
something.
get.
But what if the other thing? What if the secret bad thing happens?
Bad thing.
You just gotta-
16.
16. That's very low.
Yeah, it
You
is.
can
Yeah, it is.
you can find what seems to be like a tiny little like piece of dowel, like just rounded timber that isn't sharp at all. Just a little tiny piece of dowel is what you find, and you're able to slip that into your pocket there, and that's in your inventory.
Perfect. Now I'm looking I'm heading directly to the outside to the plate, and I'm looking for someone around the same size as me.
Excellent. As you step out to find someone the same size as you would see Bruiser and Shine following along behind you, I gather, around the same moment. Make a perception check for me real quick.
Why am I so nervous?
Because you're carrying contraband.
Yeah, I suppose. That's a 16.
First person you see is the leader of the Gutter Saints, Sister Bale, who is the same size as you. They go into the chapel, the little chapel that's built there. But you would also see that there are dottings of halflings here that follow the gut, that are also part of the Gutter Saints, that are the same kind of size as you, and they're heading into the chapel as well. A couple of them are standing out front, a couple of them kind of smoking. You would see a couple that have no kind of connection at all, gnomes and 2 gnomes, and what look to be a halfling as well, that are kind of doing their own thing there. So there are dottings of shorter individuals.
Okay, I'm gonna let you decide. I'm gonna just go to the closest one. I'm gonna
stop
go.
her.
You're 5 feet away, and I walk to them.
Yeah, I'm
Beautiful.
trying to stop
Go for
Busa.
it.
I think I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
How does one stop someone else?
I think I was gonna do the same thing. Shout out her name really loud so everybody in the yard
Yeah.
turns.
Everyone turns as you shout out Busa. Busa, the gnome that you're heading towards, kind of looks around, turns at you. You're maybe 30, 40 feet away from them. They kind of turn and look at Shine, and then at Bruiser kind of behind you, and then like you there. They just kind of look at you, look you up and down. It's gonna shake their head.
I just keep walking over.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, so Bruiser's going to like use a shocking amount of speed, we'll say, to get over to Busa and in between Busa and this gnome. I
Yeah.
have 45 feet of movement, just walking speed, but I'll use
Yeah.
more to
You
get
definitely
in
catch up to me. I have 30 feet.
Yeah, you stop between them. As you stop between them, the gnome kind of looks up at you, Bruiser, and says,
A friend of this person? A friend of this god lover?
Ye- I see Busa like getting ready to do something, getting really fidgety, and I go, just coming to talk business. And I look down at Busa and I'm like, we need to talk business.
Okay.
And I will wait for Busa to turn around and start walking first before I follow.
Busa isn't going to turn around. Busa's going to take 3 steps back without turning around.
Tell your friend there that the newbies here often make the mistake of siding with the gods. That's not where the power is.
I'm going to shove my fist down your fucking throat until you can't breathe anymore, little man.
looks at you, and says,
I know where your cell is.
I'd love to see you anytime, babes.
Now,
Nods.
see, the way you're talking, that's crazy. You're new. You're new here. I'm Bruiser. So nice to meet you. Shut up. I don't do that anymore.
At that
I
point, I'm
take
probably
command.
caught up to the. Is there some
absolutely.
sort
Yeah.
of trouble going on here? I needed
Well,
to talk to these two, in addressing the gnome, of course. You don't mind,
gnome-
do you?
The gnome looks at you and says,
Oh, of course not. Just trying to get it's fine. Nothing wrong.
and kind of walks away.
I thought so. Oh, so anyway, Bruiser, like I was saying, and I'm looking around, make sure there's no guards or anything, and I'm talking in kind of a hushed tone. Think I might have gotten in trouble again. Red sort of asked me to meet him so I could help him fix something.
oh.
I was thinking maybe Busa is kind of small, could be somewhere inconspicuous nearby. Help me figure out what I'm supposed to do.
And
Well, wasn't that the quickest contract that's ever been sprung? Wonderful. I was gonna. Well, you've already said yes, so that there goes my spiel. Welcome in.
I would love
This
to
is
I'd love a
Shine.
spiel. I love a spiel. Spiel away.
Nah, it's moments past. So what if you do whatever the plan is that Shine said? I think that if we're fixing what I think you're fixing, we could have something going on here. You're new, but you're tiny. Have you tried to get out of this thing? Just checking.
So I have thoughts on that, but I'm going to be honest with you. I have to stab people first. So if we can come to an agreement here, I can help you, you can help me. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you can stab me if you think it'll get people off your back. It's fine.
Oh, not you. Oh, no.
It should probably be me. If you stab anyone else, you're gonna have an entire horde of other people on your ass.
As long as, that's okay. We can deal with that when that happens.
All right, offer to stab me is still on the table. I need to go talk to the blind man and that what is their name? Lux? One who's always looking at stuff.
Lux.
I need to talk to them. I think they'll have the most info and insight, but You go fix whatever it is, you tag along, and then we'll re-meet and see what info we can gather and how we can use it.
I would love to tag along.
Yeah, Lux is okay. I don't know about that blind man though. He's
Blind
not
man's
really
been here the
blind.
longest of any of us.
Don't stop the bullshit. That's just more bullshit.
It could be helpful. I'm just gonna ask him a couple questions.
At this point, I think the blind man, you will have dragged your crate, your apple box out. As you drag it out, you know that you've got anywhere between like 5 and 30 minutes of preaching before the gutter saints like poke their heads out of the chapel and come and stop you as they often do.
Like move along.
Yeah, so you've kind of got to judge,
Yeah.
you know, which sermon am I going to give this time?
Mhm.
And as you step on out, you can see Bruiser and Busa and Shine like a little distance away. You hear the rush of the water, the sea spray hitting, perpetually kind of cold here out on the cliff. Lux, have you made your way out as well?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as is my habit, I like to be the last one out, and
Yeah.
so I would have waited and then followed the blind man
Mhm.
out. Despite my comments earlier, I think once it's just the two of us heading out, I probably would have grabbed the crate from him and just been like, got it,
Gotcha.
and just carried it behind him as we went out, and then just dropped it for him when we got out there and walked away.
Oh, thank you. You know the god Luke. Oh.
Yeah.
Excellent. Bruiser, the blind man, where how's your sermon begin?
I think it's pretty repetitive. I think it's something that everyone has heard before. It is about,
Many
the
times.
Lug, the god of travel. All roads have brought us here. He is the
Mhm.
god of commerce and trade. We must settle our debts.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of that, just rephrased and rehashed
Mhm.
ad nauseum. So I think it's sort of, I think the crowd sort of like parts and people like
Yeah.
shy away from wherever he is.
Right before you rock up, Bruiser, you would see the enormous Krev Vest, the leader of the Coil, with their entourage, all the Yuan-Ti following. Krev Vest just walks straight up to you there, the blind man. As they walk up, you would hear them say,
You are aware of who I am?
Yes. Yes, of course.
You speak
What,
of travel?
Yes. Yes, Luke is the god of travel. If you have not heard, I can
I have
explain
heard.
in detail, if you
I
like.
wish not to hear your detail about travel. Do you or Luke know about UCR?
I have heard of this place, yes.
Is it true that it is a place where magic users are feared and worshipped?
kind of tugs at the collar at the neck there.
I guess, what do I know of UCR?
Roll a history check for me.
Oh, man.
Or
So
tune
sorry.
in on May 14th.
Yeah. Oh, not great. Yeah, 10.
10. Same thing that a lot of other people have heard. UCR is across the strait there. A place where it is not so much whispered that it is lawless. It is incredibly lawful. But there are people who have questionable talents that find work, that find purpose, and find meaning there. UCR, everyone is provided for. There is food and money and housing for everyone there. And even those of questionable backgrounds are not turned away.
Is this a place where it's like hard to get to, or like is it hidden? Is it, shrouded in secrecy, rumor?
It does not appear to be. There is, yes, free medical care. Yeah, they have. They have.
That is the fantasy that we're playing. That's the escape.
Jacob Care there.
Jacob Care.
Yes.
What was your question? Sorry.
Is there a lot known of this place, or is it like
Oh, yes.
shrouded in rumors or secrecy?
It's not shrouded in rumors or secrecy. It would be known that Usia was ruled by a matriarch, now by an individual who is firm but fair, as far as everyone knows outside. That it is a city that it's kind of like Deadwood. It's a city that a lot of people are like, I want to go to there. It is known where it is. To get there is tough. You might be intercepted by some of the folk on the outer planes that are kind of unscrupulous, unscrupulous, descrupulous, some sort of scroop. They have some sort of scroop about them. Non-scrupulous. You would know about it. It's well known.
Okay.
But you probably wouldn't know anyone that's been there and come back, or been there and left. Most people stay there, which might be a testament to how good it is.
Yeah. Yes, I'll say I have heard many tales of Usia. Some that say that it is a place welcoming to all kinds, even sinners such as ourselves.
Speak for yourself.
Ah, yes. Well, we have all done things to be brought here. I will not presume for you.
You know what they say: when you presume, you make an ass out of Pre and you.
Yes, I have heard that exactly.
He says,
if you or your god sees fit to share more information about this UCR, perhaps either via our laundry or waste disposal system, there are benefits for you, blind man, and perhaps a ticket out.
And he just kind of moves back and away.
Okay, I don't think he knows we're here. Let's go.
And they kind of slither and move away from you. As you stand there in this stillness, as Bruiser approaches you, we'll go ahead, we'll take our break, and we'll come back.
All right.
Intrigue. What's all this talk about UCR, you ask? Well, tune in May 14th on the Hit Points Not Required YouTube, or jump in the Discord for notifications and things like that. But learn a lot more and join us for the premiere of our studio shoot, our live studio. Not live. It was live when we did it. We were alive when we did it. Just join the YouTube May 14th. It's very fun. It's a very fun series. We worked very hard and a lot of love went into it. And yeah, great.
Made by all living people.
Made by all living people. Not a single drip of AI or anything like that in there. Starring Chuckles and Meadow here, and Violet working with me to kind of keep it smoothly, rolling smoothly, and the
And
House
Violet
of Chill
technically
repute.
was also there. Yeah.
And Violet was there. Violet did a shit ton of work, a metric
Could
shit
not
ton
have
of
happened
work.
without Violet.
Absolutely not. No. And Violet also hosts the House of Chill repute, the interview show afterwards. So plenty of good stuff coming on Hit Points Not Required. Speaking of, that could be a dodgy transition. Either way, the blind
Par
man.
for the course on this channel. Dodgy transitions. We may
Dodgy
rename
transitions. The blind man, as the Yuan-Ti walks away, moves away. Bruiser, I hand it over to you as you head over to him there.
How you doing, Sarai?
Oh, I'm doing well. Bruiser, what can I do for you?
I just had a couple questions. Everybody always comes to you when they want to know something, and I want to know something, so here I am.
I consider getting down off the crate, but I think this makes me almost to your eye level, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll stay. Maybe I'll stay standing here.
Yeah.
Power move.
You have questions? I will do my best to answer.
Question that's probably a step further than where I'm at now. I just want to know something. What could you tell me? They tell me you're wise, so could you say something wise?
Most people don't give me a blank check to start talking. As a courtesy, just gonna put it out there. A lot of it's gonna be about Luke. Is there something else you're inquiring about?
I was thinking more. Okay, to put it in a more concrete scenario, what wisdom have you learned about this place, the prison that we're in, that might help me, that has nothing to do with Luke?
Well, are you asking about the sort of the organization of this place, or the layout, what are you asking, Bruiser?
Listen, I'm not the planner, but everybody else that plans has been asked to go elsewhere. Everybody's acting weird. The guards are acting dodgy. Everyone's whispering and making deals, and no one comes to old Bruiser unless they're trying to get loose. So people always come to you, blind man.
She's like trying to.
Yes, he will not react to you trying to juke him.
He never does, son of a gun.
Didn't get me.
But I'm pretty close with Shine, and Shine is like convinced that you're not really blind. So I'm taking Shine's side on this. And I go, so you got to give me something. Anything.
I will step off the crate so that
Round of applause comes from the Gutter Saints.
So that my shoes are touching the ground, and I just want to get a sense of
Mm-hmm.
Who's
Mhm.
around? Is there
Yeah,
any
make a perception check for me.
perception? 8.
8. So you, as your feet touch the ground, feel the vibrations of this metal plate. You even feel some of the vibrations in through the rock behind you. Bruiser is the only one nearby, but at the very edges of your senses, you would sense the chapel there of the Gutter Saints, and you may even sense, Shine or Busa at the edge of your ability to kind of feel the movement there.
Lux is not
You-
too far away.
Yeah,
After I
yeah,
dropped off the crate I walked away, but not far, like still probably earshot.
yeah, enough to hear them.
Enough to hear his preaching, like as he was speaking
Okay, beautiful.
out, but
Yeah,
like not like a quiet conversation.
from what you can tell, Zariah, if you talk very quietly, you and Bruiser will not be overheard.
I will reach out, like in my hand, like as if to like take her hand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'll like sort of like pat it, and and be like, these sorts of things are usually talked about in more discreet places. Out here, where we have the appearance of a preacher talking to someone looking for guidance, there are certain things we can talk about, and certain things we should not. Walk with me as I start slowly pushing the crate back to myself.
I'm just gonna push it for you as I
Yeah.
walk.
I'm getting stronger.
You guys are heading back to the cells.
Yeah.
Beautiful. As you head back to the cells, Shine, you would glance up at the cliff wall, cliff face, and then the tower above. No sign of Red kind of like coming after you, trying to get you to join it, but you have been told to come up when you get given the chance. You, Busa, would notice that the gnome is giving you a wide berth, but there are a lot of people in this yard that are looking at you with disdain. They do not seem to be approaching you with Shine nearby. Lux, you would notice as the blind man kind of pushes his way back in, and the Yuan-Ti head off to their kind of corner there. You can hear the workshop working away where the orcs kind of do their business. But you would just see as the blind man makes his way back in, actually, Busa, Shine, and Lux make perception checks for me.
An 8.
13.
Okay.
I cannot roll a double-digit number today.
For real. Yeah,
Yeah.
14.
14. Okay, 13 and 14. Both of you would notice that out of the Gutter Saints, two individuals just kind of step out. They're not hooded or cloaked or anything. They look to be like almost like dusk elves kind of thing. And they just make their way out. They look around at Zariah having left and kind of nod to each other. One of them goes back inside. The other one just kind of starts to walk out and make their way back into the cell block. Not creeping behind Bruiser and the blind man, but a good like 2 or 3 minutes after they head in, they check and they go, oh, great, he's gone, and follow along. One of them goes back into the church there.
The blind man will see that coming a mile away. No worries there. But Busa, I got to go and talk to Red. And I think I got to do it in the tower. Is there some way you can listen in? Can you?
I could theoretically use you to hide and just stealth in, but I don't know how advisable that would be.
Hope you're not asking me. I don't have any idea. You the one with ideas. I maybe I can get him to come down for some reason and meet down here. Would that be better?
Nah, you know what? I've got this little dowel. Let's get feisty. And I am gonna try and follow behind Shine so closely because I'm a
Yeah.
halfling. I
Yeah.
can do that.
Sure,
I love the amount
absolutely.
of confidence you gain from a small wooden towel.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah. I'm strapped.
I'm checking into stage combat. Dowels hurt.
Excellent.
So, well, I'm gonna go. He wanted to meet in the tower, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna, be in there here for a meeting.
Yep. Head back in, head up the stairs that go zigzag back and forth up past the workshop, past the cafeteria, up towards the top there. As you're doing that, Lux, where do we leave you?
Ooh, at this point, probably following the blind man.
Beautiful.
And Bruce are like at a distance, not like immediately behind them, of course, but
Yeah.
curious what this is about.
Okay.
Following them at a distance.
Excellent. Bruiser, the blind man, you make your way back to the blind man's cell. As you make your way back to the blind man's cell, from somewhere above you, you hear, "Can you let the guards know that my door hasn't been opened? It might be locked." He might be becoming a little bit Richard Kind as well. Andrew! Listen!
Amazing.
This really
you
is
guys
a
make your way
maximum
down.
security facility.
He's the one person where the blind man's is like, just don't engage.
Tell me about your stuff, blind man. You make your way
I'm
down.
busy.
You step into your cell. Doors open. Down here, you hear the snoring of maybe 2 or 3 people, but the cell block, now given only 2 hours outside, a lot of people have gone outside, and this place is absolutely clear. As you guys make your way in, excellent. As you guys make your way in, I will bring Lux into this when Lux arrives.
We make our way in, and I just kind of like hit the top of that crate that I pushed in for you, and I'm like, well, that's where you give the private wisdom.
Well, this is where I sleep mostly, but I sense that you know something is happening. There is activity, but what is it that you want to do?
I'm a woman who loves an opportunity. And when people start moving around, they start making mistakes. The second that the routine is broken, like a good formula for the best toilet shine you've ever had in your life, the second you break from that formula, there's no telling what it's going to taste like. And I can slip into something if I know what opportunity to seize. And from what I hear, you're the man who sees everything.
I'm just a blind man. What? If I might ask, not only what is it you want to do, what is it you can do? And I will try to hit her with my cane.
Ha ha! Hee hee! Ha ha! Whoa!
Go for it.
I'll just make an unarmed strike.
Yeah.
I kind of hope it hits me.
You probably theoretically add a quarter staff if you wanted to, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd be proficient in it.
I'll take that.
Yeah, use the first staff.
Actually, in that case,
yeah. So add your proficiency to it if you're not proficient in unarmed strike, which I think you probably are, but yeah.
Oh yeah, monk would have made a lot more sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like literally everyone, like shit. Why didn't I make a monk?
Literally in this moment.
This is just a 10 to hit.
10 to hit.
Okay. Yeah, that does not hit.
Yeah, what happens as it does not hit?
Yeah. I think if you swing out at me, that same drunken stagger just like moves my body to like just out of the way. So it looks like I've suddenly lost my balance, but the second you like the swing is complete, I stand up straight again.
Hmm.
And I look at you and go, well, that was rude. What?
Ah, consider it an assessment. I apologize, but for bold plans, skills will be needed. Perhaps some skills you possess.
Mostly, no. But you get used to it when the guards love beating you up more than they like beating anybody else up.
Well, there's stiff competition for that in our cell block, I would say.
Not if you keep it loose.
As you're swaying there. Oh, yeah, go for it.
No, go ahead.
As you're swaying there, you, Lux, coming down the stairs, would see that the railing just above where the blind man and Bruiser are, you would just see the cloaked dusk elf just kind of leaning on the railing, pretending to mind their own business right above where Bruiser and the blind man are. What would you like to do?
Oh, jeez. So am I coming in where they are, or am I passing?
You're coming down the stairs. The stairs can come off at every kind of level. You come in at the plate level and then all the way down to your bottom floor there. This guy's just above where Bruiser and Blind Man are hanging out.
Yeah, I'll just go to where they are.
Okay, yeah. You walk past as you walk down the stairs. The elf kind of watches you and kind of turns away, leans with their back against the bars, like they're looking into a cell there. And you kind of head down. Bruiser, the blind man, you would hear the footsteps of Lux approaching.
I actually approach loudly. I make sure they hear my footsteps approaching.
Yeah.
I stagger out of the cell to lean out and look and go, the one who watches. I was just gonna come talk to you.
Why don't you come this way? And I'm gonna gesture towards my cell.
I will tug on the blind man's shirt so that he knows I am gonna start walking that way, and that's kind of like an invitation to come along.
Oh, okay. If I'm included in this, then yes, I will follow.
Excellent. You head over to Lux's cell there. As you arrive at Lux's cell, bunch of cells away from where the elf is kind of leaning. You see them still leaning on the bar there, but
I'm gonna gesture for them all to come into the cell, and then I'm going to stand right at the front, like so I'm sort of obscuring some line of vision to the others, anyone looking into the cell, and I'm gonna like start doing my stretches and just like to kind of spread out and just be like, you all quiet under my breath as I do it. You have an audience, right?
What did I notice? I guess
you would not have noticed, not with the stealth check from that elf.
Gotcha.
This is news to you. Yeah.
And the no doubt people coming to hear the word of Lug. Anyone specific?
Can we see him from where we are now?
You can stretch and like poke, like all three of you, Scooby-Doo, pop your head out of the cell and look back. He is no longer there, and as you kind of poke your head up, does not look like he's on any of the railing around you. So it looks like once you moved it on, he moved on as well.
Yeah, he knew we were onto him. Okay. I'll kind of like do a stretch that way to kind of check on his position, and then just be like, all right, I think it's clear. But take a look next time if you're trying to get privacy.
I'll do my best.
Oh, shoot, blind man, you ain't fooling no one, is you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's going on? There's a vibe today. What is something up? What's up? Someone took my shit today and I'm irritated. So what's up?
I'm gonna whisper.
Hmm.
I think we're making a plan.
Mhm.
No one is planning anything yet.
We're planning on making a plan.
Is there a reason you're planning something right now? Do I know how long has Brewster been in here?
Yeah, I've been in here like 2-3 years.
Okay. So long enough
Yeah.
that it's not like,
Yeah.
why now? Why now?
Something's going on. I don't know what it is, but if something's going on, we can use it to our advantage.
How long have I known Lux? How long is Lux been
I've
here?
been in for 10 years. So
Okay.
of our group, I'm the next.
The next.
That's
Yeah,
been
you would
in
know
years.
Lux. That
I guess, what do you think our interactions have been like? Like, what kind of rapport might you have?
I definitely don't interact with people unless I have to, for the most part. Similar to our interaction earlier, I think minimal, but
respectful.
minimal but respectful. Not hostile. Standoffish, but in a pinch will help out. But in a very perfunctory way. I don't know.
And you would have noticed, Lux, more than anyone, the disdain that the other religious folk have of the blind man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also am wary of the other religious folk. So if anything, I think that might endear me a little bit more to the blind man, although I don't really adhere to his preaching. I might have occasionally in the past been a little defensive if they were making moves on him in some way. I might have been minimally defensive of his position, but
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, then I think there is some, the beginnings of a positive rapport. I think that they have.
Not friendly, exactly,
Not friendly,
but
yeah.
yes, potentially allied.
Yeah. I don't know if you talk about it, but would he know anything about like why you're here and like, what you did, what kind of skill set you have?
It's I definitely don't talk about it much, but given how much time we've both been here, you've probably gathered little bits of like radical political activity was involved with a significant amount of like property destruction and things like that. The specific I definitely would never talk about specifics.
Gotcha.
But you would get the gist that it was something like that. The severity is not necessarily clear, but that's the vibe.
Yeah. Then I will say, I think he feels like these are people he could talk to, at least in some way. There is indeed activity happening. Red, the lieutenant, as well as the doctor, Naravesk, have both mentioned leaving across the strait for Usia, or thereabouts.
They've both talked about it. Like together?
Separately. But both are leaving this place, which would suggest a trip, possibly a ship, something like that. What opportunity that affords, I am not yet sure. Certainly, I am not planning on violating the rules of this place, but
Of course not.
Listen, old man, no one said you had to come with.
no, of course not. I can barely push a crate out to the yard. But it is an interesting time. There are people to talk to, I think.
Did either of them give you anything, like a schedule for ships coming in and out? Like anything to put on if they were to do the alarm again? Anything to help you? Why would they tell you if they didn't want to help you?
Well, the doctor, I think, is just friendly. She mentioned leaving, I believe, within a week or so. Is that right, DM? Red, I think I will have another conversation with. There is something he wanted help with. I shall see if I can help.
Just to be on the up and up about all this, Red approached Shine as well with something to be fixed. I just wouldn't trust Red in this moment. I'm sure you're more than capable of handling yourself, blind man, but for lack of a better phrase, watch your back.
Wise, yes.
As we speak about Red and help and Shine, we cut up to Shine making his way up the zigzagging kind of stairs through the cafeteria that will be filled in the next 45 odd minutes with, a late kind of a lunch time, and then back into your cells and then dinner. As you're led up the stair, as you're heading up the stairs towards the guard shack there, you with Busa with you there, making your way up, you get to an iron kind of door inside this mountain that the blind man came through in order to go down the iron stairs and into the mountain. As you get to the doorway there, you're able to give a bit of a knock, but before that, if you are trying to hide behind Shine, Busa, I will need a stealth check from you.
You got this. I cast a broad shadow.
26.
Ooh,
26,
you do
beautiful.
got this.
You're able to
Oh, yeah.
literally behind.
Dowel. That newfound confidence you have.
You let the dowel guide you. Shine, how do you will you bang on the door here, or what's your
Right.
There's no guards outside.
Yeah, I mean, I assume it's customary in the prison to not just barge in on Red. But if it does not look like there's actually an official knocker or some way to do it, then yeah, I just open the door.
Door's shut. There's no like knocker. Just like this iron door with a like a viewport there. As you kind of try the door, it moves a little bit, just a little bit.
I try pushing.
You try pushing the
If
door.
If doesn't work, I'm gonna push.
You push. Decently kind of muscled there, and the door does make a little bit of noise. The viewport opens. You see a guard kind of poke their head out and go, "You're Shine."
That's right.
Big iron door opens. You see a set of stairs immediately ahead of you that continue up towards the tower. You would see on this level what seems to be many kind of like guards sitting either in rest or kind of looking out the windows there. They have weapons and things kind of set up, ready to like riot gear, ready to rush straight out the stairs and down if they need to. There's at least half a dozen of them here that kind of look across at you there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna point to something in the corner, like a weapon or something like that. Oh, is that a halberd?
Yeah.
I'll try and get everybody to look in that direction as I walk in and try and give some assistance to Busa.
Busa's fine. One of them looks at the halberd, the rest are just kind of watching you. Like they know you, Shine. They know to just keep an eye out. As you point, he points to the stairs and says,
Infirmary is the next level. Head up to the very top. That's where Red wants to see you.
All right.
As
Don't
you
mind if I do.
Yeah,
Start
as
heading
you
up.
march. You start heading up. As you start heading up at the next level, you see it flattens out. You see 2 guards set at the top of the stairs there. You see the infirmary in this rounded kind of tower here. You see Dr. Vesk just kind of gives you a polite nod. You continue up further past what looks to be a completely enclosed area for 2 levels. You gather this might be living quarters, maybe an office. As you head up further and further, you head to the very top of the watchtower. Again, 2 guards standing at the top of the stairs there. And as you step out into the watchtower, you are met with a lot of wind. As you met with a lot of wind, you see this kind of conical roof at the top there. You see a huge kind of stone arm that comes up the side and across above your head like a beam. And it goes all the way out hundreds of feet and over the top of the bowl there. You see the enormous chain that comes all the way back, and you see the huge winch-like contraption that lowers or completely disconnects it. And as you step on up, you can see Red there. Red kind of nods to you. As Red nods to you, he says, "Thank you for coming on up here. We'll be all right, gentlemen." And the other 2 guards kind of make their way down the stairs a level. He stands there. He says, "I've had a bit of a chat with the warden. You've misbehaved a little bit occasionally, haven't you? Would you say?"
It's not for me to judge.
"Indeed. And I'm not judging, but you seem to have a set of skills and a propensity for chaos. What I need you to do is to, take a good look over the winch here and make sure it's in complete working order. If you could begin that." And kind of nods to the tools, set of handyman's tools that are on the table there. Takes a step back, folds his arms, and just watches you. As he watches you, Busa, I would like you to let me know what you're doing, and you'll need to make another stealth check. You're muted, by the way.
Sorry, thank you. I'm just trying to position myself on the opposite side of yeah, to just shadow him as much as possible.
Yeah, stealth with advantage. I imagine Shine's helping. Shine has been helping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
with advantage. Oh,
Yeah.
nat 20.
Beautiful. No sign of you at all, Shine. It's a bit like that it's a bit like that Suicide Squad kind of scene where Will Smith's brought to the table of guns and they're all just like, pick guns up and do your gun stuff. He steps back from the table of tools. Beautiful tools. You can see most of them would probably have been made here. And he just takes a step back and he's got a cocked eyebrow as he's watching you. He steps back away from you. As he does, he says, "I thought we could have a chat while you worked away. I've got business to attend to in other places. But there are people here, individuals here that I have been asked to deal with before I head on over. I was wondering if you'd be interested in putting some of your skills to use for a bit of coin, or perhaps gestures down to the tools, a tool set, or perhaps something else."
You talk a lot, but you don't say very much. Did anybody ever tell you that?
They have now.
And I'm going to take a look at the mechanism, see if there's anything that actually does need to be repaired on
Make
there.
an investigation check, yeah.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The mechanism is relatively well kept. You can see it's got like a tick, 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 like a winch that will pull it back up to level where it is now. They've got a step-by-step release, and then they have a full release kind of lever that has just cut the whole thing. It will drop. If it drops, you know that there are counterweight chains that will open up floodgates and things like that.
I just want to take
Looking at it,
notes of
looking at it,
everything in that
looking at yeah,
in case I need to make any
looking at it
adjustments anywhere else later on.
with that 20, it is the arm, like the boom arm, that seems more weathered than anything else. And you gather like a decent shock or wind or anything could shake that loose, which may be a little bit of a worry. He stands there as you kind of look over it, and he says, I know you're a simple person. I don't know how long you wish to stay here, but if ever there were a way of making your sentence, your time here, a little easier, a little shorter, a little more entertaining, I'm the person to talk to. T?
Oh, that would be fantastic. You have anything stronger?
No, but I have a sneaking suspicion that people on your cell block could help you with that.
Time to time. Here's the thing. This mechanism is in fairly good working order. Could replace the boom arm. I don't imagine you have a spare here. You'll probably need that manufactured. You know
Right.
all that already. I don't really think we're here to repair the mechanism. The mechanism you're talking about, however, well, yeah, I'm here to serve my punishment because I did things that weren't right. But
Do you believe that? Do you believe they weren't right?
I was told that yes. You're trying to confuse me again. My point, do I have a point? My point is, you want me to do things again, and you want me to do them because you don't want to do them.
If I told you I could tell you what was right or wrong, and that it wouldn't be wrong of you to hurt people that have hurt people, and that I could ensure that you are not punished for what honestly often happens in prisons.
And then I could leave.
Your time here would be shortened, it would be much easier, and you'll leave.
And how many people?
Fingers crossed only one, but if two of them have to go, then two.
And if it's not a one-person job?
If it's not a one-person job, I would like to be brought in on I would like to be made aware of whoever you think would be helping you, but they are not to be made aware of my involvement.
Just sit there and think about that. Something feels like it's a trap, but I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to look at him and go, all right, well, names, places, I need the information.
That'll come. Just your affirmation, your confidence in your work, and your willingness to help is enough for me. Keep your eyes peeled and you'll know.
You're saying that it will be such an easy thing to see a blind man would be able to figure it out?
If you want to word it that way, you may.
All right. Next time you want to talk, have something better than tea.
He says, noted. I'll get the brickbacks up here to work on the boom arm. To be honest, I hadn't noticed that, so genuine thanks for that. And then he says, he gestures down at the tools. And there's like a pastry brush, like an archaeologist brush kind of there, and he kind of gives it to you, made of wood and kind of hairs there. Gives it to you, and he says, "To keep your little mouse friend nice and clean and tidy, and a gesture of my goodwill and thanks." As he says that, you're on the same cell block as that blind man, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, if you see him, you send him up.
Why didn't you just ask to talk to us both at the same time?
What do you think?
If I had an answer, I wouldn't have asked the question.
Very fair. Obviously, I want to speak to you about something, and to speak about him about something. Two different things, two private matters.
All right. Just start
Excellent.
turning around to go and remember that Busa is there and go, oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah. Busa, what have you been doing this whole time?
Listening
Mhm.
very carefully. I don't know. Shine has been like kind of putting his hands over the tools and like moving and this kind of thing. But I would like to, if possible, with that cheeky nat 20, mimic his follow his movements and kind of like slide, like if I can pass my hand over like a nail or like a
Yeah.
file or
Yeah.
anything
This
like
will be
that.
a fresh sleight of hand.
Stealth?
Fresh sleight of hand.
Okay.
I will give you advantage because Shine is probably helping with this.
Okay, let's do it. I said it, so let's do it. All right, that's a 10. Oh, that's a 20, not nat.
Okay,
Come
great. You are able to roll a D20 for a D100 for me.
Ooh, what do we get this time?
Another dowel. Come on.
30.
30. Okay, yeah, a single nail.
Oh yeah, baby. All right. Oh yeah,
Excellent.
It's happening. Let's go. Thank you.
Excellent.
As we turn to leave, and about the door, I'm gonna Columbo it and just turn back. There was one more thing on my mind. You took something from Lux's cell, and I was kind of curious about that. Maybe a down payment on services rendered?
Kind of looks at you. Roll a persuasion check for me.
23.
23. Okay. Beautiful. 23. He kind of looks it over. Why not? Tosses it to you.
Obliged. Just slide that in and head on down. Trying to be as predictable as possible in my path.
Yeah, absolutely. You look. Some really good stealth rolls, sleight of hand rolls. You make it back down into Gen Pop very, very easily. We cut back down to Bruiser the Blind Man and Lux there with Busa and Shine joining. If you wish at any point, feel free to step on in. At this point, it's probably around 30 or so minutes before, tucker time, dinner time. So you may be able to head back up to the cafeteria. But I hand it over to you three, and then eventually Shine and Busa joining in as well. Or we can cut straight to that. It's up to you guys.
Is the go ahead.
I have a side question, I guess. Red asked me about someone who specializes in identities. Do I know anyone like that? My contacts are in the prison. Someone who could.
You you would know of that final faction known as the Gnaw, GNAW, a very secretive group that no real leader is known. You would just know that you can make dead drops, or there are certain places around the prison yard where if you slip notes, they would ultimately disappear and end up in the hands of the Nor, who kind of have been known over your 20 or 30 years here to people are found poisoned in their cells, hanged in their cells. There are situations where guards have been, ousted, or guards have been kind of revealed to be predators of sorts and then kind of kicked out. The Nor seems to operate incredibly quietly and seems to look out for not the well-being of prisoners, but if prisoners are willing to pay, the Nor will work out espionage, sabotage, that sort of thing.
Cool.
There's a relevant detail about Lux that you might know as well.
Okay. I love it.
Depending on whether she's got these things scratched into the walls of her cell. If at any time during our acquaintance the blind man might have been interested in touching the walls to kind of feel like what's there, she would not have prevented you from doing so. If you had any interest in seeing that, if you've been in the cell before. Do you think that he would?
I think he would have. I think that he could probably feel the scratching against the stone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he definitely would have heard her doing it. Yeah, for sure.
I think curious, he would have walked over and
yeah. In addition to it's mostly sketches, but there is one small part of the wall that has names on it, and each name is done in a different handwriting. There are several distinctly different forms of handwriting. So you would probably have gathered that that's something that Lux can do is imitate handwriting.
Oh, very cool. Huh.
Forgery proficiency.
Then I will say, as it's the three of us here, as things are happening, and I will inquire about some of our resources, I might ask a favor of you, Lutz.
Mm-hmm.
I will need a note written, and for reasons apparent, I may need assistance with that. There are people I would like to contact, but they are elusive.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to contact the Gnaw. If there's some place to leave a note, like you said. I would, get some paper and ink and ask Lux to write whatever note you write to get the attention.
Get me the supplies and let me know what it needs to be.
Yeah. What do you have this note say?
The meaning of the note is essentially that I need a new identity for someone, but codified in whatever thieves can't, or euphemisms or phrases the Nas use.
Yeah,
the Nas uses.
Yeah, you're able to draft that up and kind of head back out into the main cell block and head across to a part of the railing that is kind of hollowed out and just kind of slip it in there. Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. It's at this point that Shine and Busa return.
We as we're getting there, is that person still hanging out outside the cell?
No, they disappeared. Bruiser and Blind Man, they lost sight of him a while back, so no one's really hanging out. Gilbert Gottfried says, "Good to see you again, Shine." Now we're going to the other voices.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, just keep talking. Give us some. We want to have a private conversation. Can you just squawk for a while.
He starts to tell the aristocrats joke.
Perfect.
So, Busa, we got to go tell the blind man that and so I'm gonna head over there. But I really want to talk to you about that. So,
Yeah, that there was a lot there. I'd love to chat.
no, fantastic. And we'll head to the blind man's cell.
Excellent.
And I guess everybody. Oh no, he's not there, right? He's at Lux's cell.
True. Yes.
Go. God damn, he's never where you need him. And then start him. Oh shit, there you are. All right, I poke my head in there. Yeah, what kind of bullshit you selling now, old man?
Oh, the usual. Would you like the usual?
No. But
All right then.
but Red does want to see you.
Ah,
I know.
he told you.
Yes. He said you're next. Evidently, there was like a number that turned over and it's yours. Said he needed to see you about something unrelated to the matter that he needed to see me about.
Ah, how curious.
Is it really?
One might say.
No.
I will head up to Red unless there's more people are staying here.
I look at Shine, and then I look at the blind man, and then I look back at Shine, and I go, I'll keep you in the loop. And I pat the blind man on the back so that he can head out.
Okay.
I don't want to push my luck here, but should I be going with the blind man?
I'm pretty sure
Way
he
to
can
just
make
stay
it.
to the room.
Pretty sure he can make his way there on his own, but if you want to act like you'll provide an escort, that would be fine. But in that case, maybe don't leave yet because I want to talk about what happened.
You know what? I won't. I'm lucky, but I'm not that lucky. I will not push. I will chill. I will stay and be a good halfling.
Against all impulses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And here, yeah, you might need this. And I'm going to toss that brush that he gave me in the blind man's direction.
It hits the floor. I will feel around and pick it up. Oh, thank you. This
Still with the
brush
bullshit.
will come in handy. Put it in my
Excellent.
pocket.
Add a little archaeological brush
Hell
to your thing.
yeah.
So the blind man, you're slowly making your way up to the tower there. Busa, Shine, Bruiser, Lux. You know that you're going to be in the cafeteria in the next like 20 minutes or so in order to get fed. If you don't, get fed. So,
before we leave anywhere and after the blind man exits some hearing range, even for super ears, I will take out the wooden thing that Lux had and hand it over to her, and say, if you want to keep something, act like it's no big deal and they will be less interested in it. But you've been here long, you probably know this. I don't know what I'm giving you that kind of advice for.
I just look kind of stunned that he's gotten this back. Take it and just nod and kind of tuck it back in somewhere it won't be seen. Thank you.
Anyway, the red wants me to kill some people, and I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
I suppose it depends on the people.
Sounds exactly like what Red said, that it's okay to kill when he says it's okay.
Well,
Or am I reading that wrong, Busa? I don't understand things all the time.
The energy in that room was really weird and really bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if after. Yes, blind man? If
Did you forget something?
That's Owen laughing.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Jacob. I wouldn't be surprised.
Apologize.
I
I'm trying my
wouldn't-
best not to derail it by popping what's his name in there? Gilbert Gottfried and Richard Kind and turned into Bobcat Goldthwait. Hey, if you want to hear Bobcat Goldthwait,
Don't start.
tune in to watch Meadow lose a shit over a Bobcat
So good.
Goldthwait impression.
Oh my god.
About
I
2
can't wait for
episodes in.
that.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
love him.
How could you not? What was I saying? Oh yeah.
You were saying it was weird energy when he asked me to murder people.
The
really?
yeah, it was really weird.
Surprising.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if after
Most people are chill about
Yeah, usually that's like a very
Vibes were off
chill
when he
situation.
asked me to murder someone. Yeah.
okay. The vibes were real bad, and I wouldn't be surprised, Shine, if after you took care of whatever guys he wanted you to take care of, that you yourself would be taken care of. You know what I mean?
That
No.
sounds right.
You're horrifying and you're very scary, but I suspect 6+ guards could murder you after you murder the prisoners. We don't know who he wants murdered. I just have an inkling.
So you think it's prisons?
I mean, he doesn't. I noticed that he didn't like when Bricks and Sister Bale started talking, and they had some very interesting things to say to one another.
Did they?
They did.
You gonna share that with us?
Sure. So Bricks wanted me to tie some stuff back together with my teeny tiny hands, and then he proceeded to ignore me. So I stood there and listened to his conversation with Sister Bale, and she came over and said, "How could you do this to me?" And he was like, "That's the way it goes." And she was like, "I thought we were in this together, or at least that's the vibes I got." And he was like, "I have to look out for my son." And I was like, "Your son is here?" Something about getting him off the out of the prison or something. And then shit got weird and they lowered the platform. No?
Getting him out of the prison, you said. Is that what you
Maybe,
said?
don't know if it was out of the prison or out of what. Just gotta save my son. That's all I heard. I'm making assumptions. Don't take what I say for fact. I've been here a month.
Fresh
I fear
perspective.
I'd worsen the situation.
I'm just like looking at Bruiser, like thinking about this information with the information we previously received.
Yeah, I am not smart. Would I be able to put some dots together in terms of my customer list?
Make an investigation check. This is exactly what investigation is for.
Okay.
very
Well,
cool.
that's a +0 for me, so that is an 11.
Not bad.
Not bad.
You would know how long you've been here?
2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, so you would have gotten the vibe of Bricks and Bale and our UNT. You know, they each lead a faction. Anytime the leaders speak together, like I said, that they've been split up. So they usually go with go-betweens for them to talk face to face to risk, you know, getting locked down. Must be important. Nothing really clicks for you in this moment. Make a history check for me.
Okay. That's also a +0. I'm not
Fantastic.
very smart. Okay, that's a 14.
14. I mean, yeah, Brix has a son. The son is not here.
Okay.
And you would know, where are we? Brickbacks. That where the brickbacks deal with the workshops and the stonework and the maintenance of these
Right.
buildings here. That the gutter saints deal with the kitchens, the garden, the chapel, the infirmary. When I say garden, I mean like the maintenance of like the cleanliness of the outdoor area. Together, the two of them kind of have the run of the maintenance of the building, of the prison, whereas Creves, the UNT, has control over like laundry, waste disposal, that sort of things. So that while the structure of the building is maintained by prisoners, labor, almost said slave labor, pretty much slave labor, and yeah, that's all you can really piece together in this moment.
Okay. I think Bruiser looks very focused and confused as she struggles to make like one clear-headed thought. And Busa said, is his son here? And we'll finish this long rant of questions that you have. And Bruiser will just go, I thought about it. Son's not here.
Okay.
All right.
Good
Well,
info.
Blew this case wide open. We got it.
Well,
You think he
That
wants
is
me to? You think he wants me to?
interesting.
Think he wants me to murder the son?
Mm,
No.
No, I think the people you have to murder are here.
Oh,
But if he's
That would make more
interested
sense.
in helping his son and his son is not here, and other people have been talking about going to places that are not here,
mhm,
there's a lot
mhm.
of that kind of talk going around.
who's
Yeah.
going to places that are not here?
Blind man's been hearing some things.
Apparently,
Mostly
Doc
from staff.
leaving, Doc's leaving, Red's leaving, and there is a son.
Wait, Red is leaving. Wants me to murder some people, and he needs the blind man for something else.
That's what it sounds like. It smells like a setup.
So I shouldn't murder the people.
Well, we should figure out who it is who wants you to murder first.
That's definitely an
Okay.
important part of this equation.
Yeah, like, do they have
We-
things that we can use? Then maybe we should murder them,
If it's us, maybe not.
Exactly.
We cut away from this to the blind man making your way up the steps there. As you make your way up the steps there, very, very slowly and carefully, no one aiding you there, you sense that there are a bunch of like heavier individuals walking past, and you feel a bunch of orcs moving past you there. As they move past you, you get caught in the current of the orcs going up the steps there, almost like you're being bustled and lifted and moved with them. You hear them kind of chatter and mutter about going up, missing lunch to go help fix this concrete block at the very top there where the chain, where the hook is. And as you're being bustled up there, you're kind of bumped to your knees ever so slightly. And as you're bumped to your knees, your hand lands on just a little folded up bit of paper. And they can kind of continue on.
I pocket this
Giving
paper.
this guy shit.
But I'm still like in the hallway where there's people around me.
Yeah, you're still heading up the stairs. No, they've moved on. Now you're on your own. You're heading towards the huge iron door that's been opened for them, and they're being let up, and it shuts again.
If no one is around me, I will examine this paper.
Yeah.
Sort of like feel it, see if I can.
You
feel
open the
anything.
paper and feel it. It does have like thieves can't indents on it, like thieves can't
Okay.
braille on it. And it says, as you kind of feel away at it there, behind the chapel, next leisure time,
Okay.
come with information that is to be changed or to be adjusted. And you have a meet behind the chapel next
Cool.
leisure time, which would be kind of tomorrow morning.
Okay.
You're able to head up the stairs there. As you head up the stairs, you go past the guard shack. They pay you not a lot of mind, and you head up. As you head up, you stop off at the docks kind of level there, and you see Red standing there with the dock. And before you get up to the hook, and the Red says, "If you mind taking a seat, just a quick checkup, lad."
Oh, yes, of course.
Excellent.
Take a
By
seat.
see, I mean you hear.
Yeah.
You take a seat. You sense a little bit of hesitation, and Red says, "Oh, it's okay. I'll be safe." And the doctor says, "You sure? I mean, I trust him." And he says, "Do what you got to do. Head on up." She says, "Okay." You feel her press at the iron band around your neck, and you feel it go and fall, and you feel your power flash back to you for a moment. She takes a quick step back, and Red says, "That's all. I can put it back on. Don't worry." Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. And she heads up steps. You feel Red lean in and say, "But that feels good, doesn't it? It's been a while, hasn't it?"
Yes. A long time.
Yeah.
Quite the occasion this must be.
It's a sample of what I can offer you if you get me what I need: a new identity, new papers. This is what I'm offering you. Once in a lifetime chance. Once in your lifetime, certainly. I remember
And this-
stories of you being a great thief, I don't know how to say it, like a robber, like a classic robber, you know. And well, it shames me to see someone of your talents stuck here for so long. So, kind of taps your neck there. Enjoy that while you can. Behave yourself. And have a good
Yes.
think about whether you can help me or not.
So is it on my neck still but deactivated, or is it off?
It fell. It's off.
There is a moment, an instant
Fuck it
where
up.
a blind man is like considering his options. He's sensing who is around. He's like, you know, taking count of
can-
like the escape routes.
You can feel the vibrations of the guards the next level down. You feel the vibrations of Vesk heading up to the next level into the insulated kind of quarters there.
I think it's just a moment of temptation as he's like white knuckle gripping this cane. Your papers, so that you may make your voyage to Busa. Yes,
Busa, yes.
Busa. You'll be leaving from here on a ship, I presume.
Correct. They forecast a rather stormy few days coming up, so the sooner I leave, the better. And there's no airships unless I want to go all the way from the main city in the north, but I'd rather just duck across the strait here. So yeah, I've got a ship waiting for me at Razorport, I believe it's called. Let me check my brain. Razorport, yeah.
And perhaps there's room on this ship for transfers. of inmates who may be lost track of at some point in the journey.
Inmates wouldn't be my problem because I wouldn't be Red. I'd be someone different who never was a prison guard. So whatever happens to prisoners, that's the problem of Hasker Lauren, not the problem of the new me. And I see no reason why a harmless old man who can't see in front of him can't find a way out. Or at least be given the means. Taps your neck again.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the clink of metal, like he's picked up the collar.
Would this have anything to do with your conversation with Shine?
Frankly, that's none of your business.
No.
Those sort of questions, cling, cling, will cut our meeting short.
Yes, well, I operate best when I have information. What you ask may require me to have assistance. What do you afford to me? Could this be offered to accomplices of mine?
As long as those accomplices are unaware of my connection, what I give to you is up to you to disseminate to others.
Well, to be candid, I want to get out of this fucking place, Red. When this is done, I'm leaving. You will help make that happen. Me and those I choose.
I will not stand in your way, and I'll do everything I can to stop those that follow me from standing in your way. There are individuals in this prison that have the means of getting those that wish to out of here. I put a stop to that. With the right amount of help for my problems, I can stop stopping that. We create a big enough distraction. Perhaps I am tragically lost to some sort of scuffle. You go your way, I go mine. Red Lauren dies, and I am reborn with a new name. I leave that in your capable hands.
Well,
So
let me
this is a
see
cool
what I
name.
can...
It's going to be a cool name. Not like Mr. Poo Poo Pee Pee.
I will add that to the request. Well, I will see what I can do for you. And perhaps you can tell me more about what you can do for me. How shall I meet you next?
The next time we meet, I would hope it's on the precipice of our liberation. But if you really need to talk to me, next time you have a doctor's visit, next time you're feeling ill, even just a little bit, come see the doctor. She owes me.
Ah. Yes.
Well, you look fit and healthy. Magic stripped from you. On your way. Dinner bell rings. You guys hear it down the bottom there. Gling, 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 gling.
All right, let's see what's on for dinner. I'm starved. How about the rest of you?
A little sick to my stomach, but yeah, let's eat.
Well, you shouldn't drink so much.
Hardy har har.
You guys make your way up past the tool shop into the cafeteria as everyone files on in. People to their kind of dedicated tables. You guys have your table there. Busa, you do not feel safe in here right now. And it doesn't take an insight check for the rest of you to notice that. It also doesn't take an insight check for you all to notice that there is a weird tension between the Orc clan, the gutter, the Brickbacks, and the Gutter Saints, the cleric-ish kind of crew there. Yeah, Busa.
Can we say that when we were all in Lux's cell chatting, could we say that while I sat and listened patiently, I ripped a piece of my clothing off and wrapped it around the nail and the dowel to create a tiny shank?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Do me a favor. Roll a real quick. I would like either a flat dexterity check or an intelligence check.
Is this something I could assist with in fabricating something if Busa were to make it known?
I was
they
going to
wanted
ask
to have this
actually
happen?
if you were trying to hide this or if we all saw you doing it.
I'm doing it quietly, but I'm not hiding it.
Okay.
Shine, you would notice someone making something.
No. Did you need a little assistance in fixing something up over there?
I mean, you seem like someone who would be good at making shanks.
Yes.
And I show him what I'm working on.
Oh. All right, we can work with this. There's the skeleton, the bones here, and I will rearrange things a little bit and tie with a little bit of a lashing over there to make it as absolutely deadly as possible. Now, you probably want to go and dunk this in the toilet on the way just so we make sure, because you don't want them getting back up after you hit them.
That will be poop. So that will either be dexterity or intelligence booster with advantage, or dexterity or intelligence shine plus proficiency and advantage.
Me or Shine or both?
So Busa, either dexterity or intelligence with advantage, or Shine dexterity or intelligence plus proficiency at advantage.
I mean, I think that would work out pretty well if you allow me to, but it's your thing. Okay.
You're the shank master, you know. Your idea was good. It's a great idea. I love it.
The shank master.
All right. So intelligence check plus proficiency at advantage.
Correct.
All right. So that's a 21 plus proficiency, which would be 24.
Absolutely.
I have the best shank ever.
Busa, if you'd like to go ahead and add a dagger to your inventory.
Thank you.
Make sure you call it a poop dagger.
Oh no, the poop knife.
A poison dagger. Yeah.
No.
Oh boy, an infected poop dagger. As you make the dagger there, you can all head on up. As you head on up to the cafeteria there, the tables, the factions, you can see that that the two leaders of the Brickmasters and the Gutter Saints, Brickbacks and the Gutter Saints, do not appear to be happy with each other, and that seems to be sitting out over the entire kind of area. You're able to line up and get your schlop, get some corn, get some potato and that sort of thing. A very, very gray, boring kind of dinner here. It's at that point that the blind man would come down the stairs unaided back down into the place here, and you guys are able to sit and begin a meal. As you sit to begin your meal, I hand it over to you guys for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to get a large portion. I'm hungry. It's been a lot going on today. Whatever they'll put on there, go over to the sit-down tray, ignoring any kind of thing going on with people looking at people or people looking at Busa or anything like that. Just sit down, start eating.
I would say typically when we come in here to eat, I sit apart from, obviously we have like our table where we sit for like our cell block, but sit apart from everyone and wherever there are the fewest people to my back. But today, after I pick up my food, I will just sit down right next to Busa and not say anything, but just sit next to Busa and start eating.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been sticking very closely to Busa because I watched her make a shank with Shine. And I've already had to like jump in front of an actual stab attempt before it was a shank. So I'm kind of like nervously darting my eyes down at Busa. And from the line of slop, I'm checking to see if there are any ingredients that could distill really well for flavor's sake. Like jam.
Yeah.
Or corn. Corn
Yeah.
liquor is a staple of Shine.
Yeah. Roll a D100 for me.
Okay. Okay, that's a 63.
63. Your choice of corn or potato for vodka.
Oh, we're definitely going potato. It's just better for quality.
Yeah, give me a real quick sleight of hand, or as you look across at the gif, the hippopotamus kind of guy with the collar on, with a chef's hat, if you want to try and persuade him to chat to him about the potatoes as he's kind of.
God no, I'll just try and steal it outright.
Okay. Well, no Bobcat Goldthwait voice.
Thank God we would never finish this scene. Okay, that's actually good. Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Nice. You're able to like bump the table and like two potatoes roll over, and you're able to just kind of slip open a pocket and they drop in there. You've got two potatoes. As you kind of pocket them there, the blind man makes his way back down. As he makes his way back down, you guys with Busa there would just see the gnome kind of looking across at Busa and just shaking his head.
I blow him a kiss.
He kind of goes red. Kind of keeps eating his food.
I feel I have to say I have the worst charisma out of any character I've ever built. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's fair. As you guys settle down and begin eating, two guards appear at the top of the stairs for a moment or two, just kind of watching over you all. As they appear over the top of the stairs at the top of the room there, you would hear the dropping of a plate. As you hear the dropping of a plate, you would glance across and you would see the leader of the Brickbacks, Bricks Madden, clutching at his throat. As he's clutching at his throat, he kind of tips off his chair. A couple of them dive on in. The two guards just kind of stand there and watch, and one of them kind of nods to the other one. They kind of nod and they step back out and close the door behind. As they close the door behind, you would see that a couple of the Brickbacks kind of gesture across at the gutter saints. You did this, and they dive across the tables. As they dive across the tables, we are going to go ahead and leave our session there and begin with a good old initiative roll next time.
Oh wow!
Fantastic.
Initiative with
Food fight,
weapons
definitely
amongst
food.
Hey,
Yeah.
with no lethal damage.
Well, there's a shank in the company somewhere. I'm not going to say
There
where.
are
It'll
chairs,
be a
there are
surprise.
tables,
That's
there's a
improvised
canteen.
weapons.
There's
a
got to
whole
be
bunch
butter
of stuff
knives
here.
everywhere right now.
That's true. It is a cafeteria. I mean, I don't know that they give you knives in a prison cafeteria.
No, but
Fair.
This is the only time everyone's allowed a sharp metal knife.
Honor
Behave.
system.
Yeah, for our
Butter
corn
knife.
and mush, they gave us
Yeah.
serrated steak knife.
Not sharp. It just
Uh,
spreads.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, be sure to tune in next week as we
Yes.
continue this adventure and find out who gets murdered, shanked, a new identity. Right? There's all sorts of things going on. But before we leave for the evening, we want everyone to tell you where they can be found. So we will start with Meadow. Where can we find you?
Howdy, I'm Meadow. I have been Meadow and will hopefully continue to be Meadow in the future. You can find me everywhere on the internet that matters at Howdy Love Darlin or Howdy Love Darlin GM. You can also find me at Meadowlark Games, where I specialize in indie games that champion odd and underutilized mechanics. That's where I'll be.
Odd and underutilized mechanics. Those are always fun. Violet, where can we find you?
Right here, pretty much all the time.
With Gilbert Godfrey.
Either in game, playing games on stream, hanging out in chat, or just talking about absolute nonsense during our happy hours. I'm always here somewhere.
Huzzah! And Jacob?
You can find me. You'll find me here some Mondays. You can find me at Theater of the Mind Flayer. We do a silly little podcast where we're wrapping up our enormous campaign and starting a Daggerheart one and a Blades in the Dark one and some other fun stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah.
Woohoo! All right.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Woohoo! Hi, I'm Owen J. Ace. You can find me on socials at Ace of Squares. You can see me here next week for episode 2 on Hit Points Not Required. You can also find me on the High Shelf Collective Twitch stream where I do actual plays sometime. And yeah, that's where I am.
Excellent. Zoe.
You can find me here, Hit Points Not Required, once or twice a month, if my schedule allows me to come have fun with these wonderful humans. I'm also on Zoe_Monroe on Twitch, where we play games and shake our fists at all the bad things and tell each other how wonderful they are. And Patreon, same name. I'm at Crochet.
Yay! Crocheting Shanks. That's what we are going to be doing. Sorry to give ideas at this late stage. I am Chuckles. You can find me here. You can also find me here. You can find me on most forms of social media at Chuckles. That's Chuck with an L-A-Z. Follow where I am. As I usually tell people, there will be in Vancouver soon. There'll be a meetup. There'll be all sorts of fun stuff happening. Maybe a convention in Boston, still up in the air. All sorts of stuff. Find me in costumes. Find me doing weird stuff, hanging out. And we want to thank, in addition to the people here, Rook for doing the production on this and keeping us looking and sounding the way we're supposed to. Clouds in the chat will be modding and making sure only the good people are killed. No, only the not good people. Whatever Shine is supposed to do, I'm not sure. And with that, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Remember to tell the people you care about you love them. And remember, hit points are not required to help out a good cause. Night, everybody.